Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the League of Europe. We are here for round number 5 around the Italian circuit. My name is Jake, of course, taking you guys through this as always, and joined alongside me for tonight. Again, Aidan is not here, but I have got Mr. QVR Verstappen here with myself tonight. Yeah, how are you doing tonight?
Hello everyone, and indeed, we're here at Monza for round number 5 of LRB D2. I'm doing well. This is a track that is, is an interesting one for league racing, to be honest, in one way or another. But yeah, I'm doing well. Looking forward to this.
Certainly am. As I said, it's round number 5, of course, around the Monza circuit. Of course, a bit of an iconic circuit as well for anybody that hasn't for anybody that doesn't actually know. You must be living under a rock. I think Monza was one of the first ever tracks that was introduced into Formula One and has been, I said, a very iconic part of the sport ever since. So as I said, if you're new to the sport, then as I said, Monza is probably one of the most historic ones that you can probably think of, especially if you ask anybody that question of what you think would probably be a historic circuit. You'd probably get your top 2 answers of Britain and Monza. So just as a little fact for you lot as well. But I said we are just at the moment into qualifying, people just going around the circuit at the moment, but just whilst they are doing that, I'm just going to run through the standings for yourself very quickly, just so at least then you guys are aware of who finished where from last week. So as you can see on your screen now, Luke of course took the win last week, Nathan finishing in 2nd and Killer rounding out that top 3, Rick 4th/5th, Darry 6th, Creco 7th, Brent in 8th, Nolan in 9th, Larkin in 10th, and then of course our standings, as I said, Luke has now moved to the championship lead because of that win that he got that he took last week, into 2nd. Now drops down to Creco, Killer in 3rd, 1 point behind Creco, and then Rick in 4th with his consistency, Slash is 5th, Darry 6th, Larkin 7th, Ben JS in 8th, Nathan jumps up to 9th, and Brent rounding out that top 10. As said, we have just started qualifying for yourself, so we will jump straight into it as well. And yeah, Lix is going to be our first one to take us through it. Again, I think Lix probably didn't exactly have the race he would have wanted last week, but maybe looking for a bit of a redemption this week.
You'll have to see. And just to note as well, our championship leader, Luke, is not here tonight, so there's definitely something up for grabs. Anyway, going for the Della Roger chicane with Lix here, now down into the first Lesmo, in 4th gear, 5th gear, and now down towards Lesmo number 2, just break off to the 50-meter boards, as Jago did say himself in the chat somewhere. DRS is open now, down towards Asari and the 2nd to 2 splits. Let's see, anyone in 52s would be good, 53-4. I have to see if we can improve later on. Then to Ascari, a lot of commitment for the first part, 2nd part and 3rd part looking all good. Track limits put out on the exit of turn 10, the last part of Ascari, and the upcoming corner as well. Parabolica, so you can extend without getting a warning there. Braking at 50 meters, Lix flicking it in, easy to lose on traction, run it short down to the line. Let's see what the Alfa Romeo comes out to. A 1:20.073, just an acid in behind. Marcio, only 9 fastest off, and I think that's a trend we'll see a lot this session.
Yep, as you said, at Rex as well, Dylan goes 500 behind Marcio as well. So as times are now starting to come onto the board. Killer is the next one across the line, and the first one into the 19s, a 19.813. And as I say that, the man that's 2nd place in the championship now, who's looking to probably try and retain or get first back from Luke, jumps up into 1st and 19.507. Of course, Killer as well is the other one, 1 point behind Creco. Larkin then comes across the line as well, 20.9. Evans 20.2, and a lot of putting times out on the board. I was going to say Timon's the next one, but he has unfortunately invalidated on his lap time. And Ben JS is spun at the exit of Ascari.
And he's out of the session, unfortunately, and that's a very easy place to spin it at. Love change the direction, so the car gets a bit unstable from the weight shifting around the car. And looking at this car wreck there on board with Darry, that is not much left of that car anyway. The Scream is put it into P2 for now, 2.5 tenths behind, just under after Creco, and more games goes to 5th, while Joom goes into 3rd there, and Darry into 4th, so the times are filling in very quickly. Just looking around, there's a few guys still to set laps here. Curity Timeless, I think it's the further along by going board with him, and he spins out of Lesmo 2, loses his wing, he has to go back into the pits.
Yeah, he certainly does. So I'm just going to ride on board with Ariel Slash. He's now, he did an invalidated time, but I saw that he was gearing up to go again for this, for now as well. So he did go purple in Sector 1. Just made his way through Lesmo 2, of course, where you've just seen Timon have that little bit of a spin and break his wing. So hopefully he gets out of the way of Slash for Slash now. At the exit of, or coming up to the entry of Ascari, 53.1 purple Sector 2. Whether we can trust that on this game or not, we have absolutely no idea. But he's only got one more corner to go. And of course, it is Parabolica trying to get a little bit of a slipstream off of the straight. Alfa Romeo now coming around Parabolica. Is Slash going to be able to put this on pole position? Let's have a look. The Alpine just making his way around the final corner now. Up towards the line comes Slash, and it's a 19.816. Must have quite a bad final sector, but into P6, only 3 thousandths shy of Mr. P3 of QVR Killer. And first set of laps done so far. Nathan, Brent, Ben, Nolan, and Timon all not putting times on the board at the moment. Of course, Ben has retired from the session, but anyone at the moment outstanding for you? Yeah, like someone that you may not have expected to be as high as they are or as low as they are?
Obviously, Kriko's put in a standing first bank lap, so that's got to be noted. And beyond that, Jim into third place. He's been struggling quite a bit this season when he has the chance to step as a reserve. But putting in P3, something we're used to from him if he gets quite nicely around the track and gets to have a little bit of pace. But yeah, 19.7, not all too bad. See if he can improve.
Yeah, no, so we'll see how the rest of that is going to go down. But yeah, as I said, a lot of other people now out on laps. I think the furthest one along is going to be DTR Brent. So we're still on board with him. 26.3, I think it said, as his first sector. And as was going on board with Brent, he has unfortunately invalidated on his time. So yeah, Brent might try and recharge that battery to come back around again and go for another lap. I don't know, I suppose we'll wait and see. But I guess in the meantime, we'll ride on board with Nathan, of course, now sitting. I believe it was fifth in the championship now. So we'll see where Mr. Nathan Gurr 63 does end up. He didn't. He's not fifth in the championship. He ended up getting second last week. He's about 8th or 9th in the championship with 23 points in that Alpine. So looking to try and pick up a bit more points this week. Did pick up his first podium for Division 2 this season last week, so we'll see how he fares on as he makes his way up towards the final corner. Now, yeah, he's just making his way around there. Looking like it could be a relatively quick time. However, I don't think it's going to be in contention with those top two in the Mercedes. The two Germans looking very quick so far. Nathan is coming up towards the line, and it's a 19.583. Said it wasn't going to be in contention with the Germans. Well, he's just definitely eating my words there.
Yeah, definitely. It's just catching aboard Mario Filippi was pretty quick for the second part of the lap, but he has spun out of Parabolica. Just the traction catch him out a little bit and hit it into the wall. And I think that's not the first time, because I think I caught him doing that earlier on as well. So maybe not the greatest start here for the AlphaTauri. We're looking to improve, but the pace seems to be there for him. Just looking around who is on a lap. I think Alex is the further ones along. Of course, he said the first time in a session. Let's see if he can improve on that. I can't see the sector split, so I have to see if he does improve. Like coming for Parabolica, let's see he do it. And down short to the line. Let's see if the Alfa Romeo can bring himself up towards the top. 97 puts him into P6. And yeah, a lot of people on that same time actually.
I was just about to say, it's all very sort of tight and compact with everyone, like the times that they've got on the board at the moment. I believe that was just Tope coming across the line to start his lap. As all one of board with Slash coming out of the pit lane. He's had a spin, as I said, coming out of the pit lane, and there's been a Haas that's been collected, and he's got no front wings. So I don't know what just happened there, but both the Alpine and the Haas came out of the pit at the same time, and it's just been a massive collision on the straight. Rex was the other one, and he's just he's unfortunately spun out of Parabolica, so that's his lap time done. A lot of other people now making their way back into the pits. The two McLarens are coming around the final corner now. Killer, I'm going to run on board with him to be the first one. And yeah, into the pits he goes. Larkin's going to be the next one across the line. Then to see what time he's done. He's done a 20.9. Now jumps up to 20.3. Still hasn't improved on his position, however.
Evans was slightly up, but did go into the pits at the end, so non-improvement for him. Rick goes up to the line into P3. Decent time for the Ferrari there. He'll be happy with that one, and one that is usually consistent in the race as well. So definitely good to get himself up there. Then just looking around, I think there's Darius' starting lap. One of the Williams is close to ending a lap. That must be RJW, the only leftover Williams. Goes up at the P4, decent time.
Yeah, very nice time from RJ for sure. Could be a little bit of a dark horse for this one, I've got to admit. We haven't, I will be honest, we haven't really seen too much of RJ throughout this season, of course, compared to the guys that did come up from Division 3 last season, the likes of Tope, Darry, Rick. We haven't seen what RJ can fully do, and at the moment, I know it's only round number 5, but maybe this could be the starting point for RJ. Might be able to see what he can actually do within the race. Timon comes across the line though, 21.124 for the Dutchman, down into P16. Still trying to get used to the track, of course, with it being on no line as well. Just see who else is out on a lap currently. I think Slash is on a lap, but he's a 10th and a half down. I guess might have picked up some sort of damage from that collision with more games. Again, I don't know what had happened between the pair of them, but I'm going on board with Darry. In fact, I'm actually going to go on board with Screamer because he's actually the furthest one up on the road. There is a stricken Ferrari though on the outside of Parabolicus. Hopefully that hasn't put off Scream, but saying that, he has just eased off ever so slightly, so Scream not going to be improving on his lap time. I'm going to run on board with Darry though because he was 700ths up on his time. Yes. So let's see what the German can do. Up towards the line he comes, and it's a 19.643. Puts it up into P3. These margins are all so tight. 3.5 tenths separate first all the way down to 11th. Any improvement, you could probably jump up at least 2 positions.
Yeah, it's all very close in. Obviously, with the track having a limited amount of corners, there's a limited amount of time you can actually make up. So that basically explains it. As I think I see Licks going around in the De La Rocha chicane on this outlap. Just recovering his car there. Quite a peculiar moment there, just looking around. Don't think anyone is actually on the lap again. Quite far along, actually. Ariel Felipe, no, he's invalid. I think it's about 5 points. Rent might be on the lap. Yeah, yes. Coming down toward Ascari. Missed the apex a little bit, and it gets a bit unstable for Ascari. It doesn't look the cleanest at all, I have to admit. Maybe he has a bit of time throughout the rest of this lap. Maybe he can get at least a time on the board. That will be very useful for Ferrari to have at least some sort of delta, some sort of reference to go off. But he might go back into the pits, yeah. As he'll not be too happy with that one.
Yeah, so straight back in the pits goes the Dutchman of DTR Brent. Again, another one that's coming up from Division 3 last season. Hasn't really made too much of an impact. But yeah, Creco is going to be the next one to come across the line. And he's a 10th and a half up on his time. So a 19.3 will be a bit interesting. This Killer has actually crashed out of the exit of Lesmo 2. So the man sitting P3 in the championship, hoping to try and take P1 ahead of Creco and ahead of Luke. Not exactly a good start, whereas his championship rival goes up onto pole position even further with a 19.336 as Nathan then jumps it. So yeah, again, I've just shut my mouth, to be honest with you. Yeah, it keeps on happening. I might as well just shut my mouth.
Yeah, let's see if this happens again. Emily Marshall, he was 3 tenths up, but comes back into the pits, and I think looking at his time, he was a bit down, may have made a mistake in the final sector. So that'll be him for now. 4.5 minutes remaining in the session, and looking at Ariel Evans, I think, is the next one, breaking down into Parabolica. Very aggressive down the gears, actually, and now accelerating up towards the line. Let's see what the Aston Martin can take himself. 19.6 puts him into P5 once again, and that is very close behind the top 2, to be honest.
Certainly is. Lix was also just on a lap, but unfortunately spinning at the exit of Ascari. Doom also invalidating on his lap time as well. Timon, I think, might be the next one across the line. As I say, that he comes into the pits as well, so he's not going to put a lap on the board. Tope should be the next one. He's done a 27.8, exactly, not exactly a proper reference lap for what Tope can do. However, we have seen what Tope is capable of before. We'll see if he does this once again. But now, just making his way around the final corner comes the German. Up towards the line comes Tope. This should be probably his final lap, and it's only a 19.802 into P10 for MLE Tope. Again, I don't think that's really a lap that he would have wanted to have done, but I don't know, he doesn't exactly even have much time to come in to get a new set of tyres changed and then get straight back out. It's sort of very hard to warm up these tyres, as you might have seen from Division 1 and Division 3. It's very hard to get these tyres warmed up, so I don't know. This could be a bit of an interesting one. However, I mean, I think our top 2 at the moment are already clear. Thriller would be one of them, just unfortunate with him crashing out at Lesmo 2.
If Killer had the pace, I think I'm more expecting Slash to get up there himself. Of course, this is usually a little bit of a wheel track noted as. So someone like Slash definitely have some sort of pace advantage and maybe get himself up towards the top. But I'm saying that Nathan is on the path and he's on at the top. So we'll have to see what way he goes. But I think Slash will be the furthest one along to start the lap.
Yeah, no, he certainly should be. And just to quote from what Mr. QVR Killer has said, this track can suck balls. So there you go. That's that's a quote and a half to say for the stream. But yeah, a lot of traffic coming out now. Slash is just starting his final lap now. 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes left to go off the session. And look how much traffic there is going through turn 1 and turn 2 and around Curva Grande as well. Hopefully they all get out of the Alpine's way. But there's so many cars that are there. I said I hope that they do manage to move themselves out of the way. Of course, Slash's teammate Nathan, yeah, has moved out of the way. A couple of other guys have managed to move their way out as well. I believe that was Rex with Nathan. But like I said, there's so much traffic going through. Slash, 100th up on his time. As I said, hopefully all of these guys can get out of the way if they're not going to be quick enough. And hopefully they don't impede the Alpine. As he has now invalidated on his final lap. So I believe our next one to come across the line to finish a final lap will be ERT Larkin. Now coming up towards the end of Sector 1, 400th up on his time, a 20.310 so far for the McLaren. I know he can do better than this. We'll see if he can do towards the end of this lap, yeah.
Yeah, definitely just moving through the last modes. Not really attacking the curves just so much as we saw Slash doing earlier on. That one he does attack, to be fair. And now the DRS is open for one of the DRS down this road. He has a few cars ahead of him and not too much traffic. Let's see the sector split time. He's 10th and a half up. Maybe there's some time in the last sector as well, which he can move himself up because 53 flat is not too bad altogether. Scary looked decent there from the McLaren. Now down towards the final corner, just passing one of the Mercedes cars, and now down towards Parabolica, braking quite late there. 5th gear on the power. Let's see. Short to the line, McLaren, ERT Larkin, can he get himself up the grids? 119.9, only 14th unfortunately. I saw Felipe in behind, but he's invalid. And it's trying to start again, I think. But it's unfortunate to see for him. Just Evans coming across the line, and I think time to start their laps. And the clock is going to run out very soon.
Certainly is. So right on board with the Spaniard of Doom, I was going to say, but he is 4/10 down on his time. RJ has had a bit of a spin out of the exit of Ascari as well, so that's both of their lap times done. The checker flag has now come out, so that is everyone's run basically done. Yeah, Doom could not improve. RJ will not improve. Lix will be our next one across the line with the 2 Ferraris of Rick and Brent. So right on board with Lix to see what time that he can do. He's currently sitting in P9. Again, any small margin that he can improve on will jump him up at least 3 positions. But Lix is actually coming into the pits, so not going to be an improvement from him. Right on board with the Finn of Rick, and a 90.653 did improve on his time. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough to jump up ahead of Dari. Saying that though, Dari has improved on his lap time as well. Just further going himself up into P3. More games. Up into 4th position, 19.625. Very impressive lap time from him. Timon and Evans, I think, might have had a collision with each other because they are both going very, very slow through the De La Roja chicane. But a lot of other guys just making their way up towards the line. Marcio was the next one. Not an improvement for the MLE driver. Crico comes across the line and doesn't take pole position. Nathan was up on his lap time as well and invalidated on his lap. So these final laps here, no one has really made any inroads other than More Games. More Games jumped up a staggering amount of places and he's going to be starting 4th for the Irishman.
Yeah, very good qualifying for him. Of course, not seen too much of him so far, but this is probably the best we've seen him in this. But you have to say the top 2 are very much clear of the rest of the grid right now. 3/10 is the gap from Crico to Dari. But it's Monza. You can DRS train quite a bit here, as they like to say. So I don't count anyone out of it just yet. Now, the gap from P3 down to basically P13, 2.5 tenths. So that gap is actually smaller than from Crico to Dari, which just shows how close the fairly sub-top midfield is, basically.
Yeah, essentially, it's just really going to be Nathan versus Crico for that lead of the race. Again, a few guys that should be up there, like Slash, like Killer, you'd expect them to be up there. That Scream had a very good start to qualifying, but didn't manage to get another time on the board. So I wonder what he could have potentially have done had he not invalidated on his lap times as well. RJ was on a flyer on his final lap. As I said, there's a lot of times that could have been up there. I mean, Felipe as well, Nolan, 20.0 for him. Again, I think that he'd probably be quite a bit disappointed with that. But yeah, that is qualifying basically coming to an end. We're just waiting for QRT Timon, who for some unknown reason is just on a Sunday cruise, despite it being on a Saturday. He is deciding to take everybody's time. There's still only 20 seconds left anyway, so he should retire from the session very soon. But yeah, Nathan Creco, I said, I think are actually clear from the rest. First and second split by 0.02 of a second. Darry and More Games line up on the second row. Rick and Ariel Evans on the third row in fifth and sixth. RJ and Scream on the fourth row for seventh and eighth. Doom and Licks, 9th and 10th again on the fifth row. And again, you could literally fit a sheet of paper over all four of them with the times that they have done. It's absolutely ridiculous of a lap time. And we'll take you through the rest of them in just a short moment, which will be right now. So Topin Killer ran that 6th row in 11th and 12th. In 13th is Slash and Larkin in 14th on the 7th row. Felipe or Nolan and Marcio on the 8th row in 15th and 16th. The 9th row, Rex and Brent in 17th and 18th, and at the very back row, Timon and Ben JS, who didn't get a lap time on the board by crashing out at the exit of Ascari, which then meant he could not get a proper lap time on the board. And I said Killer, again, a bit of a disappointment for where he's starting down in P12. I expect him to make up some places in this race, yeah.
Yeah, definitely him as Slash are two you'd expect to definitely go up. And Ben JS from the back of the grid been showing some good pace this season, so expecting him to get up there as well. Just to note that Sunday cruise from Simon, I think, is going to be longer than the amount of time he's going to spend on the track in the race today. So we'll have to see if that's the case. Looks a bit overcast, but it does look dry. Looking at the tires in the pit box, the Mercedes you can see on the right there is a hard tire, so it'll definitely be dry for now. That might change later on in the race. Typically, it's a medium hard or hard medium here, but the softs are a viable tire here. They're not usually favorable. They do like to drop off a little bit, but on the wear itself, you can make it. So let's see if anyone goes a bit out of the box and goes for those tires, but otherwise expect to see mediums and hards.
I reckon there will definitely be someone that goes for a different strategy. I reckon we will see someone that goes for a set of the softs at the start or a set of the mediums and go to the softs at the end of this race. Just who is going to be able to do that, we shall wait and see. But yeah, I think this could be a bit interesting to say the least. Again, it's going to be the battle of Nathan versus Creek. I think Darry might be able to stay within the DRS for a few laps, but after that, I think it's just going to be a two-man show as to who can take the win. Of course, if there's not going to be any safety cars, then yeah, it could be a bit more. Well, it'll be a bit of a lower race, but hopefully, for us anyway, there's going to be a lot of action going on. But again, we shall wait and see. Just have a quick look on the tyres as well. Everyone going on a set of hards, so it could be quite standard. However, Hyman in 19th position is starting on a set of the soft tyres. Rex, Nolan, Pope and Licks all starting on a set of the medium compound of tyres. So I did say someone was going to try and go different. I did not expect it to be Hyman all the way down in 19th though.
I kind of had a hunch. You never know with him having no practice, as he would like to say. So yeah, sauce for him is. I mean, it can work if you have the tyre films, especially when there's so many hard runners in this grid. You can definitely gain some positions, but he doesn't know his braking point just yet. So that's all gonna go well. A few guys in the mediums, they'll be trying to go medium hard, I reckon. Maybe one of them tries medium softs as a bit of an outsider, but I doubt that, to be honest, and the rest will just see doing hard medium. I think the pit stops will be very early on, usually. I think you'll see some of the hard runners maybe starting to go in around lap 12, 13, because the mediums do make it till the end from there. So, especially if you're much further down, you might want to try an undercut. We'll have to see how that goes as they come towards the end of the duration now.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm a bit of a gambling man, which I can be, so I think I'd expect Nolan to be the one that would try something completely different with the medium to soft. Maybe just try and wait it out until a safety car comes. But again, I suppose we shall wait and see what will happen with that. But yeah, everyone's just making their way up towards their grid spots now. The front two have lined up on the grid. For some reason, the back 7 or 8 are all the way are still towards just the end of Parabolica. So we're just waiting for them to line up, and of course we can get this race for round number 5 straight on the way. Is Nathan going to get the jump on? Oh, sorry, is Nathan going to get the start that he needs? Is Creeko going to get the jump on Nathan? Could Dari potentially get past these front two? Could more games make a bit of a surprise? We shall await and see as Ben JS now lines up on his grid spot. Let's get round number 5 straight underway, as we have got the 3, the 4, the 5 red lights for round number 5. Lights are out and away they go, and it looks as if Dari is the one that actually gets the best start of the 3. I'm saying that Nathan had a sublime start. Creeko a little bit napping on the start. Evans had a very good start, and all massive carnage in the back. That's Marcio and Rex before turn number 1. Both coming together, and already a virtual safety car has been called in. June getting a 5-second penalty for a collision with RJ. Slash getting a 5-second penalty with a collision with Tote. It's all kicked off going through turn 1, or even before turn 1, and now a full course safety car has come out. Nathan had the start of dreams. Creeko, as I said, got caught napping. Dari had a very good start. Evans as well from 6th, jumped up to 4th instantly. Very good start from the Aston Martin, but it looked as if there was a massive collision that happened towards the back end of the field.
I honestly couldn't tell, yes, I couldn't see myself, but yeah, definitely 2 cars being out, Marcio and Rex. Something has gone down there, and yeah, not too sure what happened there, but unfortunately see for them, lots of them. Just looking around, safety car out now. Someone like Timon, who's now on the softs, would he try and pit and go towards the end of the race on the hards?
He certainly could. I mean, he started on a set of the softs down in 19th. He's jumped up already 4 places from where he started, you know, albeit the 2 that had crashed, but, you know, he jumps up 4 places up into 15th. Realistically, he could try a different strategy. Go on a set of the hards now, try to go to the end of the race. If Timon could do that, he may not be in a relatively bad spot. I'm intrigued to see if anybody on these hards actually pits. At the moment, the front 4 haven't. Just everyone trying to sort of dummy it as much as possible. I think Slash is in. Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
To get rid of his 5-second penalty. Time to stay out. Joom is in as well. I think Joom is doing this for the same reason. But again, this could also, in one way or another, provide an opportunity for these two. Because if they pit now and they pit back onto Harris, they can make that maybe to the end. It'll be difficult. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. As Joom has wing damage, definitely. I think Slash may have had it as well. So yeah, overall it makes sense to do that. But there's definitely a possibility for these two to go on a different strategy. We'll have to see it, wait and see. Possibly stretch these softs to mediums as well, which means they have tire advantage on basically everyone throughout the rest of the race. That's also a possibility, so there's definitely some opportunity for these guys there.
Yeah, no, there definitely is. It's, as I said, it was a very interesting start as to what went on. But yeah, I mean, as I said, now Slash and June, they've managed to serve their 5-second penalties, so that's all done and out of the way for them. It's just if they can maybe pit and go on their hard tyres that they started on again to try and go to the end. It's a risky strategy, but I suppose high risk could be a high reward, or it could completely fall flat on its face. Maybe they could just try and go on the hards, gamble for another safety car to come out, to then go on a set of the medium compounded tyre, and again that then just pulls them straight back into the race for when everybody else probably try and pit as well. So I don't know, I feel like things could kick off, especially after the safety car restart, but it's just whether or not we see these back two maybe come in once again. I'm just going to keep an eye out on Slash because he's caught up to the back of the safety car already. Is he coming in once again? He's looking like he is. Yeah, so Slash in. Is June following?
As well.
Yes, he is. So.
Yeah, I'm expecting Hart. So they are gambling to go to the end. So the thing is, if you pit onto Hart to go back onto another tyre later on, that's just not worth it, because then you might as well just stay out of the softs and just try and make that work towards mediums or hards for the pit stop. where you have a bit of tyre advantage. So the Alfa Romeo is swapping places. Hope that doesn't cause any big issues. There has been some conduct by the steward to say, drive a bit sensible behind the safety car. But yeah, these guys going onto hards, back onto the hards they started on. And that could definitely help them in the long run if they manage to make this to the end. It's not going to be easy, because I think at about half pressures you can make a good 23 laps. So you have to have high pressures for it. You have to be a bit conservative on your tires, but it might as well be worth it to maybe try something here. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, no, for sure. It will be very interesting to see. So, yeah, Slash and James, just wait for them to catch up to the back. Ooh. What's going on with Jim? Yeah, he's going very slowly. I think he might just be trying to warm up his tyres. I don't know what sort of...
He was in neutral gear for a little bit, so that was interesting to see. But he's got back on the way now, so maybe just a button refusing to do what he wanted, who knows. Or just not paying attention too much. You can't really say that much. So I think we might... Are we going to go this lap? Because Jim hasn't caught up yet. The safety car is basically like the line where it usually would go in, so I don't think we're going to go in this lap. And we're going to have another lap in the safety car.
Yeah, no, it looks like we probably will have another lap under the safety car. So, yeah, don't know what happened there with Jim. But, yeah, he's now made it so that we've got another lap under the safety car. So that kind of helps him and Slash's... what's the word I'm looking for? It helps them in the longer run. Yeah, that's the one. It helps their strategy. So, yeah, Slash and Jim, as I said, it helps them a bit more, as I said, in the long run. They'll be able to maybe potentially take these tyres to the end. It's just whether or not there's another safety car that comes out. And, of course, if one does and everybody has already pit, then, I mean, Slash and Jim will still have that benefit of making a pit stop. And because it'll be on the safety car, cars will be inclined to go a lot slower. So they can basically have that free pit stop. So, yeah, Slash and Jim, again, they're playing a high-risk game. We'll see how it pays off in the end. But as I said, Nathan had an amazing getaway. There's no sort of taking away from that, as he's almost just sort of driving off of the road. But, yeah, Nathan, good getaway. Dari also sort of, I want to say I had like an even getaway, the same as Nathan. But Creco, again, was the one that was caught napping. He's now down in a third position. At this rate, he will still take the championship lead up ahead of Luke and up ahead of Killer. But, again, anything can sort of happen. At any time within this race, we could see a collision go down with a few of these guys.
Yeah, definitely. It's a track that lends itself for a few collisions here and there. Only into turn 1 and turn 4, a lot of squeezing points. But there's confirmation that the safety car will be going in this lap. And it'll be Nathan leading the grid as he slows it down for Ascari. And he's going to have to decide himself when he does go in. So I see Jim driving in neutral gear on the back of the grid again. So I'm not sure what he's up to, but he's definitely up to something because he's driving normally again now. I'll have to see what that is exactly, not too sure. Nathan just weaving around, where is he going to go? Typically you go out of parabolic or just before it. Let's see if he does the case. That's in the case. Just weaving around and trying to get the best exit possible. Don't think he's gone just yet.
I think Nathan tries to go maybe towards the exit of Parabolica. I think he's going to try and catch Dari off guard. Dari's trying to line up alongside him. Of course, we have said you can't really do that. Nathan has now gone, and he has actually caught Dari napping. In fact, Evans is the one that's had the best restart. He's already alongside Creco coming up coming through the start-finish line. But I think Creco's going to have the inside going in towards turn number 1. Dari looking like he's got relatively low wings. And look at this, 3 wide going down in towards turn 1. More games, that's screaming Rick. All so close. Evans has gone straight on through the barriers. And I believe there is also a Williams that has done that. That is RJ who's done the exact same thing as well. So dropping both of those, dropping down a significant amount of places. Both getting a 5-second penalty, which unfortunately they will have to serve when they make their pit stop. So they can't get that removed. Larkin goes past Evans as well. And a lot of chaos now is down towards the De La Rocha chicane. Evans, in fact, goes straight on once again at the exit of the De La Rocha chicane and beaches the car as that is another spinner as well. That is Timon as well out of the exit of De La Rocha chicane. So a lot of carnage going on this safety car restart here, and it's looking like, well, I mean, Nathan's had a very good restart, but everybody else, I don't know what had happened to them. It's now promoted Scream up to 4th.
Yeah, very peculiar restart, a few cars alongside one another, and yeah, indeed, was a group of like 5 cars for about 5th place that just go close together, and I think Evans, yeah, he just goes straight on. I think he might have hit the grass or something, maybe had a bit of contact with one of the Mercs, with Krico, he was alongside him. But yeah, they have been demoted down the grid, and I don't know, because of their corner cutting penalties, they might not have to serve him. But I'm not too sure about that one. Felipe looks to be the closest one, as Brent has gone into the pits actually, and he's retired from the session, so he must have had damage. As I saw Simon once again round through Ascari. Nathan's broken the second gap to Dari for P1, and Dari has that same to Krico, so just a bit of fighting in behind. Slash has gone straight on. So yeah, a lot of people are just missing the braking zone for turn 1. Taupe is looking into the back of more games, not quite pulling that one off. And Lex is looking on the back of benches, and the same outcome there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with all these guys going through turn 1. They just don't seem to be enjoying it. But I'm just running on board with Killer, because him, more games, and Taupe all so close to one another. Nolan as well with Larkin. Both of the McLarens sort of within this little train that's now being led by the Haas in the Irishman in the Haas. Sorry, but Taupe maybe want to try and get a move on these medium compound tyre, because he will have the disadvantage come towards the latter stages of this race. Apologies if there's like a little bit of a sound issue going on, because I can hear it in my ears as well. I don't know what's going on, but a little bit of a sound glitch going on the PS5, which is a bit interesting to say. But yeah, regardless, hopefully it doesn't sort of hinder it too much, and we can just sort of carry it on. But at the moment, yeah, still more games, leading it in 6th position. Nathan now broken DRS from Dari and Krico. That screen is now only 7/10 behind his teammates. So I wonder if we're going to see the battle of the Mercedes with these guys. Rick as well, all over the back of the other Mercedes of that screen. And well, it's sort of battle for 3rd between the 2 Mercedes and the Ferrari, and then this battle for 6th all the way down into 12th. And as I say, that Slash is now actually caught up. I know Slash picked up that penalty, but he is still got quite a bit of an advantage. However, I think Doom is now the one with more of an advantage because of Slash picking up that penalty, as there's been another spinner at his time and out of the exit of Lesmo number 2.
Yeah, and he's almost about to get lapped in there. Yeah, if he doesn't have to serve that pen, especially if he goes to the end, obviously, Slash, then it might be able to get that one removed, who knows, with the stewards, or at least reduced to something else. Hopefully a warning, we'll have to see about that one. But yeah, Nathan is a bit clear of Dari, 1.5 seconds there, 1.3 to Krico, and I don't think the screen will be fighting at Krico as much as defending him from Rick in behind. So obviously Krico is one of the front runners this time, has fun once again, so he's definitely not enjoying his time, and maybe a bit too hungover from that party. Might have to check that one out yourself, mate. But yeah, I don't think the screen will be fighting Krico too much, considering Krico is in that Championship 5 for now. So Simon picked up a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Taupe is not close enough for a move. Rick is neither for P4. And Simon goes into pit and retires now. So not too far off. I see Taupe going around. Not too sure what happened there.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there either, but I saw Killer has just sort of jumped over the first chicane, so I'm not too sure if that was contact with him or what. But yeah, Taupe now down into 14th position. Might have even been contact potentially with Nolan or with more games, I don't know. Taupe was fighting with those guys, so who knows what had happened between them. But yeah, now Taupe now down into 14th position on those medium compound tyre. Again, he's now going to be at a massive disadvantage, as I said, come towards the latter stages of this race. Still Nathan that's leading the way there on lap number 8, 1.5 seconds up ahead of Dari, who's 1.5 seconds up ahead of Krico, who is leading the small little train of the 2 Mercedes and the Ferrari of Rick down in 5th position. Unfortunately for Rick, he just can't seem to find a way past that screen because of the DRS. However, he is trying his utmost best to try to see if they can get past the Mercedes in any way, shape or form. Again, at the moment, I don't think he's going to be able to in a straight. He's going to have to try and do it somewhere at a corner where is the best opportunity, overtaking opportunity, unless he can get him on this straight here. They're both going to have DRS on each other, and they're going to have, both going to be using the ERS as well. Who can stay ahead? Let's have a look. Rick is already trying to long up alongside him, going down in towards turn number 1. They've got to be careful not to hit the back of Creco there. Both still side by side, coming through turn one. A little bit of a squirm for that screen. Both still side by side. Good racing between the pair of them. Who's going to get a better traction coming out of the second corner though? It's looking like that screen will hold on to it. However, coming through Curva Grande, are we going to see Rick try and go for the inside towards the Della Rosa chicane? I don't think he's going to be able to. I don't think he's going to have the speed to do so. Although saying that, he's held it up the inside. They're both still side by side, and Rick's gone round. It's a bit of an over-ambitious move for Rick. He was probably better off just having to stick behind screen, but because of that, he's now down in 14th, and he's actually beached his car, so he can reset to track. We have allowed that if you do beach your car, and we've caught that on stream as well. So yeah, fair enough for Rick. He was allowed to reset to track with that, but yeah, very unfortunate. Again, I think it was just more of an over-ambitious move for the Finn. Probably could have backed out of that one.
Yeah, I think he may have been better to do the latter in the 8 and just take for granted, especially as he, with that move into turn 1, he got the screen out of Creco's DRS, so there might have been a DRS miss later on, as Hume is now spun out of Ascari. He's around and down into 14th now, and that advantage he was looking to have is now not looking as advantageous anymore, and I'll have to settle that for now. Felipe is onto the back of more games, looking like an easy DRS pass to be honest here. For the AlphaTauri into P5, it's looking like those medium tyres are working decently for him. Licks in behind of this train at the back in P10. He's going to have to try and catch up to the AlphaTauri, because presumably if they're on the same strat, he is losing out to him.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, I think they do need to try and get some sort of move on Licks. He's stuck at the back of these hard train of the hard DRS train, should I say. But now, of course, Felipe going up in front of more games, it's going to allow him to try and get away from the Haas, and you can already see how much he's pulled up ahead of the Haas as well. So, again, Nolan may not be in a relatively bad position. Again, he's going to have a bit of a disadvantage unless he does go for the alternate strategy and go for a set of the softs towards the end of the race and try and extend these mediums as much as he can. I don't know. I guess we'll probably see if he hasn't come in by like lap 17 or whatever. Then we'll know he's definitely going for a set of the soft compounded tyre, as I said. Bit of a better man. I feel like if anyone's going to do it, it would be Nolan, so we'll wait and see. But yeah, at the moment, we're just a little bit of a low period now. Middle of this, as in fact, already within a second of screen. However, he has burnt out a lot of his ERS to try and get away from more games. More games has managed to stay within the DRS, however, of the AlphaTauri. But you can see how much of a charge Nolan is on.
Yeah, definitely. His pace is looking good. Obviously, he had a few invalid laps in qualifying, so he didn't really get up the grid, but up to P5 is looking like a decent outcome for him. He's on the car, especially with a few cars having trouble earlier on in the race. And have to see what strategy he does opt for. Of course, the hard to the safest strategy. But maybe with that safety car, you can extend these mediums a bit longer and possibly go into the softs. We'll have to see and wait about that one. I think his first job is going to be get past the screen very soon, and I think he's breaking the gap to more games just about not. Because more games had a pretty good chicane of Della Rosa there, so he gets to hold on for a little bit longer. But yeah, he's looking very good in this race, Felipe.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. And as I said, I'm back on the DRS now of that screen. That screen now dropping down 2.5 seconds behind his teammate. The top 4 all don't have DRS on each other. It's all up to Nolan to see what he can do, and maybe it could be a bit of a cork in a bottle with all of this, and he could potentially if he gets past that screen, he could potentially drag him back to his teammate to get back within DRS off them. He's doing that currently with the rest of the hard runners, and you can see More Games is doing a very good job of keeping up with him. Of course, you know, you can see that reflection light on the back of the AlphaTauri, and More Games is about 55% of ERS still left to spare, so he's not really pushing as hard. But you can see how much more straight line speed the Irishman has in comparison to the AlphaTauri out in front of him. I don't think we're going to see him move go down in towards the first chicane. I was saying that, he was almost going in the back of him. Killer might even try and go for a move on the exit of turn number 2, but unfortunately having a little bit of a squirm on for the McLaren, he doesn't manage to get the move done. Now More Games is going to start to use a bit of his battery to try and get back within 1 second of the AlphaTauri, and you can see Nolan still clawing up to the back of that Mercedes. I think we might see him move go down next lap. Yeah,
I think so. Although the tyres might be going off a little bit now, and the ERS for Felipe is not looking amazing. So don't know if he's going to want to make a move or he's rather just stick behind. We'll have to see and wait. As he does burn it, he doesn't seem to intend to save it. So maybe down into turn 1 we'll see a move going on for the AlphaTauri. They are losing quite a bit of time to the top 3 for now, who look to be a bit quicker than the rest of the rest. Nathan just slowly but surely extending from Dari, about a 10 for 2 per lap. And Kriko's actually moving in on Dari a little bit, I think. So maybe Kriko can challenge for that P2 for now. Obviously, we have to keep an eye on Slash as well. Lix is moving close to the back of NGS and respectively to Larkin as well. Let's see, can Felipe make a move? I don't think he has to straight line speed for it.
Doesn't look as if he does. Yeah, no, he definitely does not look as if he does. Tope gets a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Slash actually also comes into the pits as well, so that alternate strategy that Slash was trying to go for those mediums, yeah, for those hard, he's not going to be able to get that done and goes for a set of the medium compounded tyres. So Slash now going to be way behind than everybody else as well as Tope. Of course, Tope going on a set of hard tyres for his first stop. Are we going to see Nolan and Lix maybe coming in at the end of this lap? Or is Nolan, as I said, going to stay out? As there's been a spinner in the back, that is Lix, as I was just talking about him, has to spin out at the exit of the De La Rocha chicane, and he's lost part of his front wing. So, I mean, if Lix didn't want to pit this lap, well, unfortunately, I think he might have to now with that front wing damage. As there's also another spinner, and Evans, again, having a bit of a spin out of the exit of the De La Rocha chicane as well.
Yeah, I think he just caught him, maybe went across the chicane a little bit, lost a bit of time that way, but yeah, he's down into 14th, loses 2 positions to Rick and June. Both had their respective spins as well. Yeah, just seeing if anyone does come in. Nathan stays out, Dari stays out, and Kriko stays out. I think this is also the point where you might see some of the hard runners come in. Felipe comes in, so no medium soft there, medium hards for looking at for the AlphaTauri. Ben Jess in behind comes in. The Williams, he's going to go to the mediums, so Benji might be able to catch up to Felipe when Felipe tries to warm those hearts up, which won't be very easy.
Yeah, no, for sure. Benji could actually have a bit of an undercut on the rest of these guys as well, because, I mean, they're all going to have to pit. They're more than likely all pit on the next lap. Lix has also come in to change that wing and change his tyres, so they'll probably jump back behind Pope in the end of all of that. But, yeah, I think there could be a bit of an interesting thing that goes down with all of this. Slash does come out behind Felipe, interestingly enough. However, of course, with Nolan, yeah, he comes out ahead of Ben, but of course, with Nolan having to warm up his tyres, I think Slash is, well, basically all going to get past him already. Nolan trying to go defensive for the inside of the De La Rocha, but I don't think Nolan's going to try and fight this one too hard and just stick on board with it. No, he does back out of that one sensibly enough, because he knows Slash has got that penalty. So he can just stay behind him if he wanted to, but he needs to heat up those tyres as much as possible. With, of course, Nolan making that pit stop now allows more games to go back onto the back of that screen, and he's so much closer than what he has been previously. Only problem though, he's got Killer all over the back of him. Are we going to start to see a bit of a Constantino effect now that Nathan's come in? Is anybody else making a pit stop? Killer is coming in, so he's coming in for an early stop. More games. He's going to have the DRS now on the German off that screen. Are we going to see the move go down in towards turn number 1? He doesn't look as if he has the straight line speed in comparison to the screen, but lines up alongside him to go in towards turn 1. Backs off, goes back behind the Mercedes. So again, I feel like more games could have made that move on that screen, just chose not to, I suppose. It's going to cost him time to Killer. Of course, he could go for the overcut on him, but at the same time, he's just going to have, well, I mean, Killer's going to have much fresher tyres, sorry, not much warmer tyres when they come out of that pit, so Killer could get the jump on the rest of these guys if he doesn't decide to do a move.
Thing is, Slash is onto the back of Killer now, and Slash having those fresh tyres and warmed up, gonna, I think, try and move past Killer, although Killer does have more ERSs, so Slash is derating, so I think Slash has to weigh in behind. Doom is going around again through De La Rocha chicane now, and yeah, that strategy is not about to work for him, to be honest there. Mainly caused by his own driving, as yeah, 2 spins aren't ideal, definitely. Slash is just stuck behind Killer for now, because yeah, the McLaren's tyres are not really up to Thames. The Slash is going to try and overtake down towards Ascari now. I don't think Killer is fighting this one. And the Alpine moves up into P10. Darius in to respond to Nathan, who has come out in a little bit of a train with Evans and Rick in the middle of him. The Scream is the only one to stay out, obviously not to double stack with Kriko. And I think Rick is about to stay out as well, potentially. Yeah, but Nathan is going to go and move fast. Down towards turn 1, DRS is open, ERS is open, it shouldn't be too difficult to move, and Nathan is up into P2 once again. Let's see where these guys all come out respective, as more games has lost quite a bit of time in the pits, might have been held up a little bit, as that is a little bit of an issue. Slash is coming out in a decent position as well, as Nathan has dropped back behind Rick, so I think he might have made a mistake there.
Yeah, I think Nathan did make just some sort of mistake. I'm not too sure what had happened with that. But yeah, Killer, he's now come out ahead of Ben, come out ahead of Larkin, and come out ahead of More Games, interestingly enough. In fact, More Games has come up behind Nolan. So with More Games trying to play a bit more of a smarter game, it's not paid dividends for him, and he's now dropped down, well, what was from P4, now down to what I think is around a P7 or a P8, especially with Ben and Killer going for the undercut. Slash as well. Slash not out of this whatsoever, as Nathan gets the move back done on Rick before the Ascari chicane. But that Scream's still out on the track at the moment. In fact, more than likely will be in at the end of this lap. Rick and Evans should probably also be in towards the end of this lap, or they might be trying to gamble for a safety car. Who knows? We will await and see if they do come in at the end of this lap. But yeah, that Scream now in. I'm intrigued to see where this Mercedes driver is going to come out in relation to everybody else, because he was about 3 seconds behind his teammate, but was of course involved with all of that, the whole of that train from, well, Slash downwards, and Slash is all over the back of Doom as well, so needs to try and get this move done ASAP, as Doom is in fact in. So let's see where that Screen comes out in relation to it. He's at the end of the pit lane now, and I think this whole train is going to get him. Maybe not Nolan and More Games, but it's going to be quite close to see where that Screen comes out. Comes out just behind Ben JS.
Yeah, it was very close there on the apex of turn 1 with the Williams there and the Mercedes. Let's see if Larkin can make a way past the Merc on some colder tyres there. Let's see the McLaren move that towards the outside of Curva Grande, now the inside for De La Rocha. Not quite, I think he's backing off there, and sails for P10 for now. But he's going to be held up a slight bit, I reckon.
Yeah, no, certainly is. So Nathan now back into the lead of this race. Rick is in second on the 16-lap old hard compound tyre. Evans in third on the 16-lap old hards. The only two still yet to make a pit stop. Darry now onto the back of Evans as well in fourth on net second position. Darry on a very good, could have a very good result here tonight and boost his opportunity to try and jump in for this fight in the championship. Let me just double check on where I said he was prior. He was P6 in the standings, so Darry has got a good opportunity to jump up ahead of Slash, jump up ahead of Rick in this championship, and as I said, it will close up to the back of Killer and to the back of Creco and to the back of Luke by doing this jump. And same with Nathan, as Darry, speaking of him, goes past Evans. Yeah,
easy DRS move on the straight. I think Larkin is looking at a move on the Scream as well, as Doom in the background has spun for his Ascari. Yeah, Larkin up into P9 past the Mercedes, but not in DRS of NJS, which he'll have to try and get on this lap. It's going to be on the edge of it. It's going to be a bit difficult to get down, but if he clears a lot of ERS, which he doesn't really have, but who knows, he can get back into this little train of Slash, Killer and BenJS, which is for a professional P4, assuming Slash penalty gets removed. It's not obviously certain, we'll have to see about that. But yeah, Slash just out in front of this little train. Seems to have decent pace considering he has no ERS basically.
Yeah, to just go a little bit wide out of Lesmo 1, however, so Slash again just making a little bit of a mistake. He's allowed Killer to just close back up ever so slightly to the back of the Alpine, but again, not going to be able to get a move done going down into towards Ascari. We might see it though going down into towards turn 1 and turn 2. The potential move go down. As speaking of that, Darry trying to close back up to the back of Rick to go for this move in towards turn 1 as well. Licks picks up a 3-second time penalty just to kick a man while he's down in 15th position. He's basically just going to have, well, he can get past RJ, but then he's going to have to try and get 3 seconds up ahead of the Williams as well. So, as I said, kicking a man while he is down. Darry not going to be close enough to get the move done on Rick in towards turn 1. So we go back to Slash and Killer. Killer can see that red light flashing on the back of the Alpine, but again, not going to be able to get any move done going down in towards turn 1. All running this nice little long DRS train from 6th all the way down into P11. Nolan has dropped off to the back of these guys, so all of them being on the set of mediums. I said he will have that disadvantage, and that disadvantage has now come to the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, he's dropped back. He might have made a mistake or two as well. As think he was still on the train behind Larkin for a little bit, but yeah, not there anymore. Doom said in the fastest lap, some consolation to his troubles. So Creeko's going to make a move on Evans here down towards Ascari. No trouble there, and pass into P4 for the Mercedes. 2.6 seconds to Dari, with Dari on to get some DRS here as well from Rick, and possibly a move done. It's going to be difficult for Krico to get Dari, but if the Red Bull picked up a penalty, there's obviously always a chance, or Krico shows some insane pace all of a sudden. Who knows about that? Let's see if Dari can get his Red Bull past the Ferrari of Rick, who's I think just waiting for a safety car at this point, because otherwise I don't know why you say out. Maybe go to the softs at the end. Not really in any proper fights currently. Dari's not going to be able to get past. Evans is looking to the back of Krico though, down the inside. He's going to fight back. Not quite, has to back out of that one, and I think Krico just about stays ahead. Evans might get the beneficial exit, but not quite either. And yeah, Krico stays ahead. Dari is going to stick in behind Rick for now. No move there, I think, down towards De La Rocha. And this straight, there's no movement either. So just holding out and waiting for the end of the race, probably to see some action.
Yeah, no, for sure. As I said, Evans and Rick are the only two still yet to make a pit stop. They've done 19 laps now on these hard compounded tyre. I wonder if the both of these are going to go for a set of the softs. Maybe even pit on this lap and go for the softs to the end of this race. We shall wait and see as there's yellow flags. That is Toad at out of the exit of the De La Rocha chicane. Yet another victim of this chicane. And I don't know how it's catching so many people out. I thought, if anything, Ascari would be the one to catch a lot of people out. But it turns out it's the De La Rocha chicane. And yeah, we've had now about 5 or 6 spins coming out of there now, so bit of an interesting one. But an even more interesting thing, Rick, look how close he is to being overtaken by Darius. Surely the Ferrari comes in at the end of this lap. No, he doesn't. Yep. He in fact stays out. So Darius now going to get this move done on Rick for P2. Rick's going to try and hold this one as much as he can, but I don't think the Ferrari's got any sort of straight line speed to counteract that, and that's now Darius up into second position. Rick now down into third. Surely the Finn has to make a pit stop very soon. And same with Evans. Evans, he's doing very well to keep up to the back of Krico, to be fair to him, on 20 lap old medium hard tyres. But you've got to think that these are now going to start to die off, surely. And Evans is surely going to have to make a pit stop this lap as well, both him and Rick. I would have thought a pit stop is imminent for the both of them.
I think they're just waiting for that safety car, so they're just going to try as long as they can without getting into puncture territory. Which can be for another couple of laps, especially with the safety car at the start of the race. Tope has gone on to soft now. As far as you can see, he was still in a position where he could have maybe got some points. So he was in 13th. But he was not incredibly far Felipe, and maybe with Evans still to stop as well, having a penalty as well. There's definitely something on the cards there for the Red Bull. Maybe he wasn't too aware of it. I've just seen Evans go straight on basically through Scari. Just about keeps it on the track though, but loses a lot of time. Rick has also just managed to stick to the back of the Red Bull of Dari, so just having that tyre advantage doesn't seem to be quite enough to break DRS instantly, and it helps both Rick, who's staying out for no lap, which is basically confirmed. He is just there waiting for a safety car. The same goes for Evans, as there's only going to be 5 laps remaining. I think we have to look on board with more games though, because he is looking for a move on the screen, whose red light is flashing on the back of him. And More Game still has plenty of DRS to the outside of turn 1, late on the brakes for the Haas. Touch a bit of grass though, goes a bit deep, and not quite gets that move off, and he has to try again, lose a bit of time, and he's still in P11 for now.
Yeah, very close between those boys as well, and yeah, very unfortunate for More Games going just a little bit too deep in towards turn 1. Just allowed Scream just to hold that inside, and just, you know, he could move straight back onto the racing line once he saw that More Games had that massive lockup. So yeah, good defending from Scream. More Games maybe just needs to do a little bit better and trying to overtake that and trying to you know, spot that breaking point properly for him, as there's been another spinner out of the exit of turn 2, which is Licks, interestingly enough. I'm not too sure what had happened with Licks there, but yeah, having a spin out of turn 2, no front wing for the Alfa Romeo either. So yeah, I think Licks is out of the points of this one, and I think that's basically confirmed he isn't going to be finishing with any sort of points whatsoever for tonight. Unless about 3 people end up dying, then yeah, I think Licks is unfortunately not scoring any points for Alfa Romeo, and both Alfa Romeos are going to be out of this race as well. But you know what? We haven't really sort of touched on Nathan at all pretty much throughout this race. He's just been driving a nice little quiet race on his own. I think the only time we did was when he came out of the pits, so we do maybe have to cut off of that one because Evans makes his way in, and now we've got the battle. Killer versus Slash. DRS now wide open for Killer. The problem for him is that Slash has got the DRS off of his relentless partner, I suppose. But Killer has the inside in towards turn 1. Slash tries to go for a bit of a switch back out of turn 2, but Killer covers that one off. Very nicely done from the McLaren. Gets his way up into 5th position. Now needs to try and chase down Creco. He's 4 seconds behind him with 4 laps left to go. I don't think it's going to be doable for the McLaren unless Creco makes a massive mistake, but yeah, unfortunately for Killer, he just got stuck behind Slash for a bit too long, and within that DRS train, he was sitting nice and comfortably there, but I think it's just too little, too late for him. Creco is still catching up to the back of Rick, and Rick still keeping within a second of Dari. Interestingly enough, Rick, he's got good solid pace. Just that one spin that he tried to go for the move on that screen earlier, I think was just a little bit too forceful, which I think is why he stayed out, because he knows he can get a better position, and I think you're right. I think he's just playing for a safety car.
Yeah, it's the only reason to stay out now. As you see, for Evans has dropped back, the max Rick is going to get is probably a point, maybe 2 if he gets RJ. That's about it, and yeah, he's now going into the pits. So there's basically no point of waiting for the safety car anymore. It can only happen down here, maybe lap 25 as well, so... and then he'll still be under fresher stuff, so yeah, he's going his way into the pits, probably in punky territory as well. Slash is looking for a move on Killer back on there, and Benjes is looking at it, but there's no room there. Slash has completed the move down into turn 1, gone a bit deep, gone over the curb there, and that's going to allow Killer to go back through, and Benjes is going to go back through as well, and maybe Larkin as well is looking into the back of it, and this is all going to close up a lot. Larkin is moving around the outside of the curve of ground there. Benjes is alongside Killer now. Larkin is trying to find a gap, but not quite. To the outside of De La Rocha though, not quite, but they all get past Slash. Slash down into 7th place, but this is now spicing up for a good fight for 4th place as Slash gets past back Larkin, and there's a bit of contact. Larkin half spun there and moved down back into 9th place. So yeah, there was a little bit of contact through Lesmo 1 there. Slash just stays ahead there, but loses touch with Killer and Benjes now, who are fighting it out for 4th and 5th.
Yeah, it was, Slash got the run back on Larkin, went down the inside in towards Lesmo 1, and I don't know if Larkin, I don't know if there was contact between the pair of them, but yeah, unfortunately, Slash just couldn't get Slash got the move done in the end on Larkin. Larkin just having that half spin. Yeah, Killer now moves up in a 4th position, Benjes in 5th. Slash is already caught back up within DRS though of the rest of the Killer and Benjes. So I wonder if we're going to see Slash maybe try and go for a move. He hasn't got DRS, interesting enough, so it's that screen going to go for the move in towards turn 1. Slash goes late defensive, but that screen's going to go down the inside in towards turn 1. Bit of contact between them. Slash not really leaving the space on the inside for that screen, and that screen has to back out of that one a bit forcefully from Slash, but unfortunately he couldn't get the move done. And now Benjes trying to go around the outside of Killer in towards the cover grande. Killer's going to have the inside, but Benjes will have the inside in towards the De La Rocha's game. Ben does back off from that one. Betting starting at the back of the grid is now fighting for P4. A very valiant effort from Ben, and again he could still get P4 in the end. He's got 40% ERS in comparison to Killer's 25. He could try and get a Killer to burn some of that ERS, and we could see Ben potentially get himself that 4th position. But I mean, the top 3, unless they make a mistake, I think it's already clear from them that they're finishing in that 1st, 2nd and 3rd. It's just whoever's going to finish 4th, this battle for 4th with these 6 cars is going to make it all worth the while here, yeah.
It definitely is. I do apologise for the noises if you can hear anything in the background. Apparently people in the Netherlands find it appropriate to set up fireworks in the middle of August, so just apologies if that is any noticed there. Meanwhile, just looking, in the last 2 laps now, Benji still onto the back of Killer Blue. QBR Killer, let's see if he can make the move work. The ERS is on for the Williams as Larkin gets past more games to the background, but we're focusing on Benji. He's down the inside of Killer. Down into turn 1, Killer breaks later though. Can Benji maybe get a switchback on down towards the De La Rocha chicane, but I don't think he's enabling his ERS, and he's having to wait for the last lap. The Williams does, and not quite getting the move done there.
Yeah, no, Ben couldn't get that move done. He's got one more lap left to go after this to try and go for some sort of move through, going down towards turn 1. Now probably going to be the best opportunity, the best overtaken opportunity. Evans comes into the pits to try and maybe go for the fastest lap. Now Rick does come out as well into 11th position. He's about 5 seconds behind Nolan. So I don't know, on those subcompound tyre, there is a slight opportunity that Rick could catch up to him if Nolan isn't. Well, I mean, Nolan looks as if he's got steady pace at the moment anyway, so I think Nolan is going to finish in 10th unless he makes a mistake as well. But now coming on to the final lap of the race, Nathan does cross the line to start the final lap right now. And again, we haven't really touched on Nathan too much in this race, but he has literally just been. He's had a nice Sunday drive out in front, and I don't think there's been any complaints from him. He's just happy where he is at the moment, and Nathan's going to jump up a whole heap of places. But here we go. The battle for fourth position. Ben all over the back of Killer. He's now using that ERS. Killer trying to use his ERS to defend from the Williams. Ben's going to go down the inside in towards turn one. But it's going to break a lot later than what Ben is, and Killer does just about leave him enough space. But Ben still can't seem to get the move done. Now coming through Curva Grande. Are we going to see him maybe use a bit of his ERS to try and go for the move on Killer down in towards the Della Rocha chicane? It looks as if Slashes is someone to try and get involved with it as well. Then all over the back of Killer, maybe going down in towards the Della Rocha chicane. Has to back out of that one as well. Does the Williams. Only a few more corners left to go. And that is RJ that's had a spin out of the second turn as well. Killer still holding on now through Lesmo 1 and through Lesmo 2. The 6-car train's now turned into a 5-car train. They both from the front end of the McLaren and the rear end of the other McLaren. Don't know what has happened with more games, but he has dropped out of the rest of them. Ben JS still not close enough to getting the move done on Killer, and Sash isn't close enough either. Dash Scream not close enough to getting the move done on the Alpine as well. So I think that is it, unless there is a little bit of a mistake through the Ascari chicane. No, there is not. I'm going to go on board with our leader there, because Nathan has come across the line to take the win around Monza. Very valiant win from him indeed. Barry in the end does finish in second, and Creco rounds out the podium. Thriller, great defending from the McLaren, starting down in 11th, ends up finishing in 4th. Very great drive from him. Ben again at the back of the grid after not putting in a qualifying lap, ends up finishing in 5th. What a drive from him in the end. That Scream finishes in 6th, Larkin in 7th, More Games in 8th, Slash in 9th, Nolan rounding out the top 10. Rick does finish 11th in the end after having that spin earlier on with that Scream, and RJ picks up the final points position. Jim will come home to finish in 13th position with 0 points to his name, and then Evans trying to go for this fastest lap. We'll see if Aston Martin is able to get this fastest lap as he's made his way through Ascari and puts on the ERS a bit too late, a bit too early, and that's him around at Ascari, so no fastest lap for Evans. Unfortunately for him, that was that. But yeah, Nathan, again, we didn't really touch on it too much whatsoever. Very dominant drive from Nathan.
Yeah, very dominant. Just looked to have a slight edge on the rest of the pack. Darius, to mention as well, he used to have a bit of a quiet race after getting a bit clear of Creco after the 6-car restart. But he's basically done the same to Creco as Nathan done to him. Slightly be quicker and managed built a gap to about 4 seconds, I think it was. I think Nathan slowed down a little bit across the line. But yeah, good drive from Nathan, and he'll be happy with that one after last week's hill-called robbery and safety car in the last minute. But that didn't happen this time, thankfully for him, and he can add 25 points to his championship tally.
Yeah, no, he certainly can. So yeah, Nathan, congratulations, of course, taking a win for tonight as well. As I said, very dominant drive from him. Nothing, it didn't put a foot wrong in that, and as I said, that just kind of showed in that race. It was nice and quiet for him. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't complain at that. Did take the win in the end. Of course, Darry landing up on the podium with him, as well as Creco. I think Creco now goes to the top of the standings with Killer finishing in 4th. Creco now goes back, as I said, to the top of the standings. So Luke and Killer have got a little bit of work to do, of course, for next week. But again, it's only going to be about a 4-point difference from Creco to Killer. Of course, I said he was 1 point ahead of him going into tonight. He's now 4 points up ahead. But Nathan, as I said, took the win in the end. Darry finishes 2nd, Creco 3rd, Killer in 4th, Ben JS and Seth from the back of the grid and ended up in 5th. Very good drive from him. Scream in 6th, ERT Larkin in 7th, More Games in 8th, Slash in 9th, Nolan 10th, Rick in 11th. RJ, like I said, picked up the final points position, and Rick picked up the fastest lap, so he gets at least 3 points for his travels. Again, it's a little bit of a pity fastest lap, but he did end up taking it in the end, so congratulations to him. Jim Evans last finishes, as well as Tope, and then of course our non-finishers of Lix, Timon, Brent, Marcio, and Rex after, well, not even before, not even after turn one, ended up having that crash with those back two. So, yeah, I said good effort from everybody else. And hopefully we can get the top three in for for a podium interview. I don't know if the two Germans will join us. However, I know Nathan will, so we shall wait and see when Nathan does join the party. But yeah, I mean, anyone that sort of was a bit of a stand up for yourself for this afternoon, yeah?
It has to be Nathan, and he's been just dominant today. Can't really say anything about that. Second as well, I put Ben JS forward as well because from the back of the grid, obviously crashing out the quality in his first run, I think being there up into P5, a very solid drive from him, possibly fighting for P4 as well. So yeah, them two I think are the most outstanding, maybe along with Dari as well as I mentioned.
Yeah. No, for certain, they are definitely the ones that are the most outstanding throughout all of that. I don't know if we're going to get anyone joining us for podium interviews. I haven't seen Nathan show up.
I think we're getting Nathan, is what he said to me. So just hopefully wait. Seeing Tope say Kriko and Dari are shy, so that's all fine. If it's not mandatory, obviously, but. Yeah, so there Nathan has joined the party, and we can have an interview there.
Certainly can. Well, Nathan, we said it last week. Hoping we'll see you at the top step of the podium. You've done it tonight. Probably a bit of a boring race for you, weren't it?
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of seeing Monza with the amount of practice I've done this week. Yeah, I said, well, I mean, obviously I've taken a little bit of time off Discord, but I said last week quite kind of hurt me. So yeah, we just went for pure domination tonight, really.
And pure domination it was. I mean, you ended up already getting about, I think it was 1.5 seconds in the space of like 3 laps. So, yeah, that was it was definitely a dominant drive from yourself. After those like first set of pit stop, or after that first safety car, was you maybe thinking of doing like an early stop? Because I know you started on a set of the hards. Was you thinking of maybe to go in for like an early stop to try and do something different from what everybody else was, or was it always just your plan just to do just a straight hard to medium like pit as early as you could?
Well, all week through practice, I found that the mediums, like after I think it was like lap 12, they were always quicker than the hards. And tire wear was close, but it was fine, like kind of after lap 12, 13. So that was always the plan. And then I was just Slash, and I think maybe Felipe pit under safety car like twice, like do a double stop, and then I thought Slash was going to go to the end. I think it actually would have been quite interesting to see what the delta would have been, because he was going to be about 12 seconds ahead, roughly, so it would have been a bit of an interesting finish. But yeah, the thought was there, but I think hard, like just kind of staying out and trying to just kind of keep as consistent of lap times as possible.
Yeah, no, for certain. It definitely looked like you did that as well. 25 points added to your tally. Now jumps you up a relatively amount of points as well. I think you go up to 5th in the standings, or maybe even 6th in the standings. I'll have to just double check that very soon. I think it is 6th actually in the standings. So, of course, Singapore next week. Are you hoping to try and make this 2 in a row for the top step? Is Singapore a track that you favour a lot, or is that not really a track that you're too fond of?
Well, I started practice on Thursday. So we're working a week ahead this season. Just trying to, I think, get everything like strategy and like ERS fuel and everything just sorted. Work out what like kind of the best pit laps and like what to do like with safety cars and that. So yeah, we're doing all right. Obviously, slow start to the season. Not an ideal start to the season actually, but yeah, obviously it's still quite early. I think what is it, like 17 races this season? I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously round 5. So we've got another 12 to catch up. But Singapore, I think as long as it doesn't rain, we should hopefully be on for another podium at least. obviously I was hoping tonight that Slash was going to be kind of because all week I think Slash was I think he was saying that he was like basically the same pace. So I was hoping that we were kind of gonna get a 1-2 here, but I think in terms of constructors that will be something that we'll just kind of work on along the season. Hope that other teams just kind of have a bit of a few bad races. Obviously, the Mercedes are looking very good. Creek is looking very consistent. And obviously other teams like McLaren and AlphaTauri, they have like I think all teams will have like on and off races. So I think that and also the drivers will be very interesting to see how that turns out.
I was going to say, one final question from me as well. Is there still the possibility of this championship for yourself?
I mean, like we said last season, it's not over till it's over. You just gotta keep pushing until it's mathematically impossible. So, yeah, just until we get to like the final. I mean, the final 5 races is like when you want to start thinking about the championship. I think when you're 5 races in, like it's still a bit too early. If it was like a 100-point gap, that's when it's like, okay, we kind of gotta nail the rest. But I think with enough practice, 5 full race practices, I think it will be okay.
Certainly will. Yeah, any questions for Nathan for tonight?
Well, congratulations on the win. How much are you sweating after all those race practices?
It's actually been alright. I've learned more about the game. Obviously, I think everybody knows that this game's been really hard for me to kind of get up to speed. I think I'm almost there. There's still bits like today. I don't know if it was caught, but like I had like 4 half spins out of turn 1, which obviously I think for D2 it's like a little bit different. But like when you get into like D1, like stuff like that is a bit like that's when you can't be making like half spins like almost every other lap. So yeah, I think the practice is definitely needed, and I think this week has actually like helped me a lot. For other tracks like Britain after Singapore, that'll be one that I'll probably have to do even more because it's one that I'm already struggling with. So it'll be quite track dependent. Singapore I do really enjoy, so that'll be one that I just enjoy driving anyway. But yeah, it will just be in terms of how much we actually want to drive the track on that week.
Certainly will, and hopefully we'll see you for Britain practice on the Tuesday. But yeah, that is it for the stream for tonight. Thank you to everybody that has tuned in. Of course, make sure you guys do check out next week for Singapore for round number 6. Of course, at Division 1 and 3 at 6:30 p.m. at British Standard Time. Division 1 covered by James Head and QVR Killer, and Division 3 by Jess Gamer 95 and Evil Dragon. Hopefully he will be back next week. Just due to COVID, he wasn't here for tonight, so hopefully he does get better soon. And then 8:10 p.m. British Standard Time for Division 2 and Division 4. Division 2 covered by myself, and I think it will be Aiden back next week as well. And Division 4 by QVR Packer and Alt Maverick as well. Yeah, thank you for joining me for these last 2 weeks. Hopefully we do see you back in Colin's booth soon. But have you got any final words for tonight at all?
More so than the last couple of races. It's been very enjoyable to commentate on the. You have to always a lot of action, not always in the right way, but we always take a little bit of entertainment, and that was certainly the case tonight as well. A little bit of midfield battling as well, which was always good to watch. And yeah, hopefully I can be back at some point again.
Certainly will. So yeah, I said thank you to everybody that has tuned in for tonight, and we'll catch you guys for round number 6 next week around the Singapore circuit.